What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so CBS was forced to release the full interview with Kamala Harris, and we got to look at it. I read the news article that actually listed everything. They went through the whole thing. You can go find it. As a matter of fact, it's right here. If you want to go read the whole thing, I'm not going to because there is so much rambling nonsense. I would suggest don't. But you can if you want to. It's the Daily Mail. Go check it out if you want. There's so much rambling nonsense. Like, I was literally, trying to pull my brain out of my head about halfway through this thing. And it was just driving me insane. I'm like, holy crap. This is nuts. They edited out. Like seriously. They only aired, if you add everything up, the 60 minutes interview was actually only 20 minutes of her speaking. Right now, I understand. Yeah, I know. Okay, so we've got time for the guy to ask the questions and whatnot and respond and blah, 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 blah. But they actually had about 40 minutes of her on this whole thing, right? It's nuts. Like, they cut out 20 minutes. They cut half of it out. And a lot of it's jumbled up. Like, they would clip this out and move it, just eliminate it completely and paste two parts of an answers together. It's like, wow, they did heavy editing on this thing. Like, heavily edited. Like, very, very heavily edited. And because of that, Donald Trump says CBS should lose license over Kamala Harris' 60 Minutes interview. That is right. And look, after looking at all this, because, if this was just a normal interview, right? I'm not sure if I agree. I know I just switched gears, sorry. I'm not sure if I agree with this totally outright. However, I do see his argument on this. I'm going to say I'm on the fence over this, right? Maybe they should lose their license. Normally, if this, like I said, I was going to start that thought, if this was just a regular interview, come on, it's just okay, well, it's just a corporate press outlet. They're just doing their thing. They're just manipulating everybody. Who cares? At this point, we know we're being manipulated. We love to see the manipulation and call the manipulation out. As a matter of fact, some people have monetized doing that. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm trying to do right now, if I'm going to be honest. But normally, it's not that big of a deal. It's like, brush it off. It's like somebody calls you a racist these days. Who cares? You know you're not a racist. So who cares if somebody calls you that, right? Especially if it comes from a leftist. Because we see what makes these people cheer. And so we really don't care about their insults at this point. Plus, that insult has been watered down so much. It just doesn't matter at this point. You know, it's the difference between drinking tap water and filtered water. It's just been watered down so much, nobody cares anymore. However, considering this was a presidential election, and, a lot of these interviews can weigh heavily on the outcome of this election, especially people on the fence. They're undecided. They don't know who they're going to vote for. They don't pay attention that much to politics. They're not always in the news, so they don't know everything about the candidates. They may be interested and see this 60 Minutes interview. The fact that they manipulated this to make her look better, to cut down some of the garbled nonsense, some of the word salad, that's what they got rid of. Like most of her answers were word salad anyway, and there ain't much helping it. But once you go back, Trump's been calling for this for a while, and I would just kind of brushed it always off. I always brushed it off. I know sometimes I mix my words around, sorry. Do that sometimes, I do. But, I was just brushing it off okay, well, she just says a lot of word salad. But watching the interview, going through it, most of it, I honestly, I could not make it through the entire thing. Some of the parts that I knew were in the original airing of the thing, I just kind of skipped over those. A 10-second skip ahead, right? Seeing what they actually cut out was even worse. Okay, so I get what they did now. I see exactly what they did. Most of the rambling nonsense. Seriously, Like you get a lot of left wingers out there. This was the narrative, right? When everybody on the right was like, "Look at Biden, look how bad he can't even speak. His brain is jello or something. He can't talk." And everybody on the left was like, "Well, Trump's old too. He just rambles all the time." How come nobody was saying Kamala Harris? Because this was worse, way worse than anything Trump could come up with. Like, Trump rambles. I ain't gonna lie. But at least he's telling a story. He's engaging, right? He's entertaining. This was like a vice being crushed on your head the entire time. It drove me mad. Literally. So, okay, so given that fact, right? Given that fact, I can see the argument for election interference on this. I'm not saying I totally agree with it, but I am leaning in that direction just because of the utter nonsense that was the 60 Minutes interview. Let's get into this thing right quick, see what Trump has to say. I'll make the argument right quick, right? President Trump called for CBS News to lose its broadcasting license after the unedited transcript of Vice President Kamala Harris's 60 Minutes interview revealed that the show edited down her long-winded responses. Mr. Trump said the network committed election interference and election fraud. The unedited transcript was released Wednesday by CBS and the Federal Communications Commission. CBS and 60 Minutes defrauded the public by doing something which has never, to this extent, been seen before, Mr. Trump wrote on Truth Social. They 100% removed Kamala's horrible election-changing answers to questions and replaced them with completely different and far better answers taken from another part of the interview. Now, I happen to disagree with some of that. Just some of it. I can't say they put far better answers in there because they just weren't. Like, they got rid of a lot of just nonsense. That's what they did. They didn't replace it with far better answers because they weren't better. It just sounded like they took the croutons out of the word salad type of thing. You know what I mean? There's still a lot of word salad. This was election-changing stuff. Election interference. And quite simply, election fraud at a level never seen before. CBS should lose its license, and the cheaters at 60 Minutes should all be thrown out. And this disreputable news show should immediately be terminated, he wrote. Mr. Trump said the Harris interview will go down as the biggest broadcasting scandal in history. The uncut transcript shows that a few of her answers were cut down to half of what she said in the October 2024 interview. A few? I'm sorry. I know the word few is not a well-defined term. But y'all let me know down in the comments section right quick. Can we all agree that a few is like 3, 4, maybe 5? Maybe 5. Like, I've always considered a few 3, 4 at the most. Right? Because you got, just one is 1. A couple, obviously, is 2. A few is 3. And then after that, you start saying, oh, there's 4 or 5. You start giving specific numbers after that. And then until you get to several. Now, I counted to 8. So I would consider that several. But they chose to say a few of her answers. Okay, that's what they went with. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you noticed, but I had a screenshot. I screen recorded scrolling through that entire news article. Hopefully you can see it. Because I haven't done it yet, to be honest with you. I just thought just a second ago that, while I was talking, as a matter of fact, which is weird. I know. How can you talk at the same time while you're thinking? Creating ideas. I have no idea how that works, but it does. I just thought maybe I should screen record that and play a screenshot while I was explaining what a few are. But I counted 8 myself. I don't know if you guys were paying attention to that and counted 8, but you can go back, rewind, and go count 8 of those. There's 8 questions that were changed from that article from the Daily Mail. Yeah, I didn't want to cover that because it's way too long-winded. There's way too much nonsense. It's way too much word salad. Yeah, nonsense and word salad are different things, by the way. But, you know, I'm sorry. I just had to throw that out there. Like, that seems to be an ability that people have that you don't know you have. Sorry, does that sound like I'm bragging? I apologize if that sounds like I'm bragging, but I'm just amazed that I'm able to think in the background. Like, I never knew I could do that before until I started doing this. Just blows my mind. But sorry about that little rant, y'all. It also revealed what she actually said in response to a question about Israel-Hamas war that sparked the then Trump campaign to say the interview had been edited to make her look better. In preview clips of the interview on 60 Minutes and Face the Nation, she was giving 2 different answers. But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu, yeah, we've already seen that, blah, 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 blah. We know her complete answer combined what she said in the 2 different clips. Well, Bill, yeah, we know about that. Okay, yeah, Ms. Harris said. In other questions about Israel, her responses that were broadcasted were cut down when the original transcript showed she gave long-winded answers that the Trump team labeled as word salad. That's because that's what they were. FCC Chair Brendan Carr said in a X post Wednesday that the commission has concluded that establishing a docket and seeking comment on the issue raised in the complaint would serve the public interest, which it does. When CBS News posted the transcript on its website, the network defended the interview, saying that the uncut transcript shows that the interview was not doctored or deceitful. That's not true. That's what they said. But that's not true. Okay, so I would need CBS right now to define doctored. Because, okay, so we understand, like most common Americans, people even with low IQs can understand that, you know, in an interview, what we see on TV, that's not how the interview actually goes, right? Because people, you know, might have to scratch their nose or they might say a word messed up. Like, you can see jump cuts. Like, the corporate press, they've got editors, they've got engineers. They can do a really good job. Like me, every once in a while, I ain't gonna lie, every once in a while, I could make if I have to scratch my nose or cough or something like that and have to make a jump cut, which I don't do a lot of, maybe 1 or 2 in every video. Sometimes I can make them seamless. I always try, though. I always try. But I'm sure y'all let me know down in the comments. Do y'all notice my jump cuts? Because a lot of times, they're easily noticeable. Because I'll say a word, and then, boom, my arm is gone on the next word. Like, hang on, his arm just disappeared. That's because I said a word and got stuck on that word, or or coughed or something. Like the American people, we understand that this happens. So every interview is edited. But when you remove that much content and you take sections out of answers because they were nonsense, that's doctoring. I'm sorry. You cannot come off with that excuse. This was manipulating the interview to make her look better. You cut out some really rambling garbage that it surprises me that Kamala Harris has gotten to where she's at. Talking like that. Like, how did she get to be a district attorney? Like, these people literally have to get out there and campaign. How does she actually do that? How does she get so many people to get behind her? I understand the Democratic Party is a cult. And when the elites of that cult put their figurehead up, the cult is going to follow. They're going to vote for her. I understand that. But, it's like before she became high-ranking Democrat, how did she win any elections whatsoever? I just don't get it. It's like Elizabeth Warren, her voice. is like nails on a chalkboard to me. I don't know how she wins an election. Seriously. Like, I just don't understand how people could vote for that. Lindsey Graham. You think I'm just bashing Democrats over here? No. We've got rhinos in the Republican Party. Democrats in Republican clothing, if you will. Lindsey Graham is a good example of this. Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, who, by the way, just fell down a flight of stairs. I say a flight of stairs. But, you know, Mitch McConnell shouldn't have. How does somebody like Mitch McConnell get reelected for like 40 years? How do these people? Like, I don't understand that. Do that many people not pay attention to politics? I guess they do. I guess that's the case here. Because anybody that pays attention to politics and sees the stuff that Mitch McConnell does would never vote for Mitch McConnell ever again. Lindsey Graham, same thing. He's a rhino Republican, just a warmonger. He's a neocon at this point. You know, he would be totally fine with all this USAID stuff continuing. I haven't seen any Republicans get with Democrats on this Elon Musk thing yet. But I'm only one person, and I can only view so much per day. I do have a day job, by the way. So, you know, I work 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday. But, you know, I stay in tune to politics. I try to keep my ears open all day long, if you will. But I just don't understand how they're making up excuses here. Oh, it's not deceitful. As a matter of fact, it is deceitful. It's very deceitful. And once again, you know, I'm riding that fence, but I'm leaning towards this is election interference, because if you wouldn't have edited it so heavily, right? We understand, you know, we're not idiots around here. We understand you got to cut this down for time, and you want to get rid of certain things. We get that. We get that. But, you know, when you take out that much, and you take out what you took out, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not buying it anymore. We're sick and tired. The American people are sick and tired of the manipulations. CBS, you guys are in control of your airwaves. If you want to air something like this, air the whole thing. If it takes 2 hours to do it. You get paid anyway. You know, y'all get fees just for being a cable news network. Y'all get money just for being on cable news. That's it. You have your funding there. It's not like somebody like me, right? Like, I'm not even getting paid to do this. I just do it because I want to. I don't want to lie to people, but they seem to want to push a narrative. And now they're just lying, blatantly lying, saying, oh, it wasn't deceitful at all. As a matter of fact, well, you know, maybe they're not lying. Maybe they don't think that's deceitful, because maybe that's business as usual for these people. Yeah, we deceive you all the time. We pull the wool over the eyes on everything. So maybe they're not lying. Maybe they don't think it's deceitful when it actually is deceitful. But, you know, that's a topic for another day, y'all. I think I've done enough on this one. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section. Don't forget to smash that like button for me if you don't mind. I would appreciate that. Subscribe. Hopefully I've earned it. If you're new around here, share this video anywhere and everywhere you can, y'all. I really need y'all's help with that. Sharing this video really, really helps to get the word out, because we need to bring CBS, NBC, MSN, all of them. We need to bring them to their knees. Absolutely bring these people to their knees. Put them out of business with real news, real opinions, just real sources, everything. Just news given to you on a silver platter, the facts, with a little bit of opinion attached on it, because you're going to get opinion regardless. When you have somebody discussing and presenting the news, you're going to get opinion. It's unavoidable. It's an unavoidable object, right? If that's a thing, right? You got the unmovable object, then you got the unstoppable force over here, but you got an unavoidable object over here. Can you get out of the way of the unavoidable object? That's the question. Y'all let me know down in the comments. That's all I got on this one. I want to thank everybody for watching. Y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.